Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Jennifer Seven, and welcome to week 4 of our Tune-Up Challenge, Tune-Up and Weight Loss Challenge. And today I'm excited to talk to you about planning and preparation. Before we get going too far, I wanted to say congratulations. You made it to week 4. It's a 7-week challenge, so we are more than halfway through. So yay, yay. I hope everybody's doing great. Okay, planning and preparation. In all of the years that I've been doing this, I can tell you that the most successful dieters are those that plan and prepare. And I've had many dieters tell me that they believe that this is the key to their success. So what we're going to do today is talk about planning and preparing. And I want to give you the best tips that I know of that I can give you, and hopefully you guys can share more with me and your coaches and on the Facebook page as well. This area is a very high stress area. We have people in traffic, high stress jobs. If there's families with children, then there's many activities for kids. 2 parents working or a single parent working. There are so many demands on our lives, and it is so easy to be thrown off of our eating plans. If we're leaving the house super early to fight the traffic, working all day, rushing home, picking up kids, getting here, getting there, the concept of the dinner meal is just gone these days. So what do we do? Well, first things first, let's start with the basics. Hopefully by now you've cleaned out your refrigerator and your pantry, and so all of the junk food, the bad foods are gone, and you've replaced them with the foods that you need on this program: vegetables, proteins. So I'm going to go with that you've already cleaned out everything, and if not, it's still time. Go ahead and do it. You really want to reduce the temptation to grab something when you're hungry that is not going to be what's best for you. Shopping is really important. So hopefully you're making some plans to shop, pick a day to shop, replenish that refrigerator and the pantry with the things that you know that you can eat. And I think it's really helpful to always have a copy of the phase 1 sheet with you. So keep one in your purse, in your wallet, in your car, on your refrigerator, so that you have that phase 1 sheet readily available so that you always know what you can get. I think, and most of the coaches would agree with me, that Sunday afternoons or Sunday evenings are typically a better time to plan and prep. So if you can take some time on a Sunday or on the weekend or whatever night or day of the week is best for you, but make a commitment to it, schedule it on your calendar that this is your planning and prep time for your week. It's going to really help you get through the week. And during that time, you want to plan out your meals for the week. So you can look ahead. You can also look ahead and see whether you're going to have any lunches out, any work commitments, any dinners out, any social events going on, and you can factor that into your planning. But for your regular week, you want to map out what your vegetables are going to be, map out what your proteins are going to be, and prep for it as much as you can on Sunday. So you could map out your vegetables, you can clean and chop and bag them up. Either get little Tupperware containers that are airtight, chop up your veggies, put them in the containers, stick them in the fridge, and so that you have enough for 3 or 4 or 5 days. When you are shopping, for many of it, it's really difficult to take the time to do the chopping and the prep work. So nowadays at these grocery stores, there's so many options for you. You can go to Trader Joe's, go to Wegmans, and they'll have all this cauliflower rice. They'll have zucchini noodles, and they're already prepped and ready for you to go. A little bit more expensive if you're getting it done ahead of time for you, not ahead of time, but if it's already chopped up for you and prepared versus chopping it yourself. Trader Joe's is awesome. I think their prices are really good. So you could get the fresh mushrooms, asparagus, broccoli, get all of that, stick it in the fridge. But then what I would do on Sunday is I would go ahead and plan out what you're going to have and put it in baggies or put it in Ziploc containers so that you have your veggies are ready to go. When it's crazy in the morning and you're ready to run out the door, you've got what you need. You know, day 1, day 2, day 3, just label them. You can also get frozen. Frozen's going to be a little less expensive, but now there's so many options in the frozen vegetables. You can get cauliflower rice. You might be able to get cauliflower mash. You can get zoodles. But again, if you're doing frozen, you really want to look at the ingredients. Sometimes they add dairy in or certain flavorings or seasonings or sodium that you want to be careful about. So make sure you're reading the labels. You can also go to Costco, and they have giant bags of broccoli and maybe cauliflower, or even in the regular grocery stores. Get the big bags and throw it in the freezer. And I think that's great as a backup plan, because if you've been to the store once a week, you've gone through your pre-prepared veggies and you run out and you haven't been to the store, you can always go into the freezer, call it your emergency stash, and you have veggies there that you can access. So that won't derail you. You don't want the excuse of, I don't have the food, because then you'll be starving and you'll eat something that you shouldn't eat. Okay, so as you're planning, making sure that you're getting your 4 cups a day, 2 cups at lunch, 2 cups at night. If veggies are difficult for you, the other option that a lot of people do is they will mix up their veggies into a morning smoothie. And a good trick with this is your spinach. So you can get a bag of spinach from the grocery store, throw it into the blender with maybe a pre-made chocolate drink, because that's going to disguise it. Especially if you don't like veggies very much, you won't really taste the spinach. The other one you can do is the strawberry banana. You could blend it in with that, or maybe even the wild berry yogurt, which is the powder that you have to mix with water. So those are a couple options for mornings. Just get the 2 cups in there. That's 2 cups down. You only have 2 more cups to do throughout the day. Okay, let's see, for lunches at work. So you've got your veggies all laid out. Now remember, you can swap your lunch and your dinner protein. So if it's easier for you to hit the salad bar at lunch, and maybe they have some chicken, you can throw it on your salad, get all your veggies in. Be careful of the dressing. Remember that they're probably not going to have the right vinegar. They might not. Whole Foods might. So you need a white vinegar or apple cider vinegar with your olive oil. You could do a little lemon, a little salt and pepper on your salad. Or get yourself some Walden Farms, and we do have packages that are the to-go packs. So if you want to have some of those at your office of dressings that you like, you can do that. You could also, as part of your Sunday prep, you could make up your own batch of dressing, olive oil, vinegar, lemon. It can be really delicious, a little garlic, and have that, make enough for the week so you're ready to go. The dressings can really, really mess you up if you're using the restaurant dressings or even grocery store dressings, because they're loaded with sugar. You really watch out for that. So you can do that for salads during the week. You could have your dinner protein at lunch, hitting the salad bar. The other option you could do is, if you are hitting the salad bar, you could make a second salad that you would take home that night. If you have a little refrigerator at work, then you could put that extra salad in there. It should still be fresh enough that you could take it home. And then you've got your salad, and all you need is your dinner protein. Another great idea would be to pick up a rotisserie chicken to take home with a big salad. And just don't eat the skin, and try to get the ones that are just plain without all the flavorings. But that can last you a couple days. You've got your chicken, you've got your salad, dinner meal's done. Easy, easy, easy. I'm looking at all my ideas here for you. Back to Sundays, if you're prepping your veggies, a great idea is to get all your veggies that you like, get a big cookie sheet, and measure out all your veggies. So you know you've got your 4 cups. several times, divide them up so you've got them laid out. I saw one example of someone put her 4 cups in aluminum foil. So each 4 cups was in its own aluminum foil, and then she put those on the pan, or you might not even need to put them on the pan. You could just put them in the oven that way. Pull it out, you've got your 4 cups, split half into lunch, half into dinner, you're good to go. And that's easy. Little olive oil on it. You can put your seasonings on it, throw them in the oven. You've got veggies for 4 or 5 days. Really easy, and the ones you like. So you can just roast them 15 minutes, about 400 degrees, plus or minus. You have to pay a little bit of attention. Do you like your veggies really soft or a little crispier? Great idea. I think that's a fabulous idea. If you don't want to do the rotisserie chicken idea, you have time to bake some chicken. You could do that on Sunday. Get yourself several chicken breasts, bake them, and then again, you measured them out, you bake them, and then again, you can take your 4 cups of veggies, you've got your chicken, you're ready to go. And I would label it for each day so you know exactly what you're doing. Some other ideas, and I was checking in with the coaches to get their best tips on all of these ideas. So back to those veggies. So let's say you've got your veggies, you're getting a little bored with chicken and veggies. What you could do, take your veggies and put them in a blender, like a NutriBullet or whatever kind of little blender that you have, and put some vegetable broth in it and blend it up, and you've got a soup. You can even do that just with the veggies. Throw your veggies in with some veggie broth, blend that up, you've got a vegetable soup, or you could even throw in the chicken and make yourself some chicken soup. And if you double up your veggies and your chicken, you can have 2 nights. So you've got 2 meals right there, and that's really pretty easy. I like that idea a lot. You can even use chicken broth. Remember, watch out for the sodium in a lot of these broths. Okay, another great idea is a pork loin. So get a nice pork loin, and what you would do, and this I got from Coach Yasmin, who is a great cook. She's like, sear it on the stove, and then you can put it in a crock pot with some veggie broth, and throw your veggies in there and just let it cook. And that could be several meals. So if you do some of this on Sunday, if you make Sunday your planning day, you can have a whole week's worth of meals done, and you're good for the week. And again, if you double up on some of this stuff, you could even put some of this stuff in the freezer. But what I would do is I would put them in containers that are literally 1 meal, so you can pull it out and you know you've got what you need for that meal. So it doesn't take more effort to take a big container out and try to divide it up, and it's frozen and Okay. There are lots and lots of recipes on the 7 Company blog. So if you haven't been to the 7 Company blog, I recommend you go on there. Tons of recipes. We also have in the office several recipe books. So if you haven't experimented with Geneva's, that's a great one. It really focuses on using the Ideal Protein products more than anything else, but I do believe it has some recipes that do not use the products. Then there's 2 great recipe books that were actually created by Chef Verretti, who was with Ideal Protein. So one is called My Ideal Recipes, and they're all low carb, low fat, perfect for the first phase and the second phase of the program, where you're eating very low carb, low fat with your protein. And then the other book is called Taste of Freedom. I should have brought them in to show you guys. The Taste of Freedom book is designed for maintenance. It's still considered low carb, low fat, but you may have to tweak the recipes a little bit to make them compliant with the phase 1 and phase 2 that you are following. But check them out, and then there's just tons of recipes online. Low carb, low fat. Know your phase 1 sheet so that you can look at the recipes and make sure you're doing them properly. The cooking demos. So I hope you guys are looking at them. Surinder and I are having great fun doing them, and they're fabulous, and they're low fat, they're low carb, and they're easy. I am not a cook at all, but I'm learning from going to her demos, all the little tricks and tips and how to make things taste so good, and they're so easy. Yesterday we did sweet and sour chayote. So good, and really, really easy. Very easy to get your two or 4 cups in because it makes a lot. So you could do several chayotes and make a couple batches, and you'd have a lot of vegetables for the week. And then we did the pizza, the chili pizza, which was really good, and the crust was so crunchy. But we've been having a lot of fun doing these. So if you haven't looked at them, go back and look at them. They're on the Facebook page, or they've been emailed to you. They're worth it. They're worth looking at. Even if you don't like to cook, they're easy enough that you can do this. And I know she does all the prep herself, but you could use some of these vegetables that I was referring to from Trader Joe's or Wegmans or Costco, and they're all chopped up, and so that takes a lot of the work out of it, and you can still pull it all together. I hope on our Facebook page you all will post some of your best tips for planning and preparation. It would be really good for you guys to share. Now I want to keep going. Veggies. Some people like to eat the same thing every day. They eat the same protein foods, and that's just, it works for them. But then other people can get really bored. This is a great time to experiment with different vegetables. For example, chayote. I didn't even know what it was. But there's a lot of interesting vegetables on your sheet that are low carb. You're really looking for low carbohydrate veggies. And experiment, play around. I know the ones that I like asparagus, broccoli. You can put your tomatoes in. Oops. Okay. Sorry about that. And experiment. It's your time to experiment. Remember, tomatoes are occasional, so you will have to look at the ones that you shouldn't be eating quite as often. But don't get bored, and then change it up. You can do the soups, you can do the roasted, you can do salads. So there's a lot of things that you can do to keep yourself from getting bored. All right, a really big tip is to have an emergency kit. I know I've talked about this before, but again, in this area, one car accident on the Beltway can take you hours to get home, or when we get into the winter, a snowstorm, a bad storm, who knows? But you don't want to get caught without your protein food. So I call it an emergency kit, have your emergency kit at the office with some extra protein foods, whatever your favorites are, drinks, chips, bars, have them. It's harder to have an emergency stash of vegetables, I know, but at least you would have your protein. I recommend having some in your car, because if you do get stuck in one of those massive traffic jams and you're starving, you want to be able to have something you can eat. Say you have a work day that runs late and you're starving. You need a little something to eat that keeps you from going to the vending machine or running through fast food when you leave, or maybe you're bouncing straight from work to pick up the kids and go. You've got to plan ahead a little bit. So the other thing that's nice to have is a little cooler bag at home. So when you do pack up for the day, you've got a little insulated bag, especially if there's no refrigerator at work. But then that's transportable, and you can put your stuff, if you have to put it in the car and have extra veggies in the car, you've got that. So you can eat as you need to eat throughout the day. So definitely have an emergency kit, and in your purse as well. Just having a bar in there really helps. And it's so much better to eat one more of your protein foods than to totally go off plan and eat something that you really, really don't want to eat. It's so hard, and then you don't feel good about yourself later because you went off plan. The other thing I would recommend is, because you need to get in your water. Some people don't like just plain water. But also in regards to getting hungry, if you get your water in, you're going to feel more full. The water enhancers are great to give flavor to your water and helps you get your water in throughout the day. It also helps you feel a little bit more full. And the BCAAs, the branched chain amino acids, are fabulous. So if you haven't tried those, I highly recommend it. Very much supports your lean muscle mass and helps you from losing muscle. Also helps you feel more full. Definitely, I would have a box of those at the office and a box at home. And the water enhancers, if that's important to you, to have flavor to your water. We've got the orange, there's lemon, there's mangosteen, and you can mix them. So another way of just getting something in your stomach to make you feel more full. As you probably know, every week you should be thinking about the week ahead. And again, thinking about social situations, lunches, dinners, night out with the girls or the guys. You want to have a plan. We talked a lot about social occasions, I think a week or two ago, and you can go back and review that. If you haven't watched it, you may want to go back and watch it. But knowing what's coming is really important, and then having a plan for it. So if you know that you have to go to a luncheon that's a plated lunch and you don't have any choice in what the food is, you want to plan for that. So you take your protein, you eat it before you get there, or if you can eat it during it, that's fine too. Typically there's some kind of salad, hopefully. Hopefully they haven't put the dressing on it. Usually they don't. They have the little pitchers on the table and you can pour it on. Sometimes you can ask for oil and vinegar. Again, it may not be the proper vinegar. You could just use a little bit of the oil and a little bit of lemon. Usually they have lemon slices because they usually have iced tea. So you can have your salad, you can have your protein, and then if they, let's say they give you a nice big piece of breaded chicken and some vegetables. Most likely the vegetables are going to have butter on them and dairy. Oh, and there's usually the bowl of bread, so just don't even. If you can get away with asking them not to have the bread on the table, but probably not because you'll be there with other people. Just keep it passing, keep it moving. If you really need to eat that chicken, scrape off all the breading or the skin or whatever's on it and try to make the best choice you can with the veggies that are there. If it's absolutely all you've got and you're going to eat a little bit of the veggies, you know they have a little bit of dairy on them, that's better than eating the mashed potatoes and eating the bread. So make the best choices that you can in the situation. But again, if you eat your protein beforehand, you'll be less hungry. And then they usually have some kind of dessert, which you just, it's a no. You have to just know that it's a no when you go into the situation. If you're going out with the girls and there's going to be wine and all kinds of things, alcohol involved, again, I would suggest bring your peach mango, bring an orange drink, bring something that you can look like you're drinking if you feel pressured, or get a nice tall glass of sparkling water with a lemon or lime and just drink that. What you really have to think about in these situations is what kind of pressure are you going to be under? There are always those people that are going to be pushing you to eat something that you shouldn't be. So you know the person, oh, you can have that glass of wine, or you don't need to lose anymore. You look great. Sometimes you just can't put yourself in those situations until you're done with your program, and that's okay. You just have to be okay with that. If you can't be strong enough to hold firm. And that's a lot about remembering that this program, whatever your program is that you're doing for losing weight, this is all about you. Putting you first, your health, your well-being first, and remembering your why. So you get in those situations where you start to falter and waver, go back and think about your why. Spend some time with your why. Either avoid those situations or have a really good plan. I think the other one that's really tough is family. And again, we talked about that a little bit before on social occasions. For many families, food is love. And if you have this loving mother who loves to cook for you, your favorite foods, maybe it was lasagna, which you absolutely cannot eat right now, I think it's best to try to let them know ahead of time. hey, I'm coming over and I'm really on this restricted meal plan for my health. Can we just eat chicken and veggies? And hopefully your family, if they love you, which I'm sure they do, will be understanding. But I think it's better to let them know ahead of time. Then you get there and the lasagna's there and the bread's there, and you're like, oh my goodness, and they're so hurt if you don't eat what they lovingly prepared for you. So letting people know, and sometimes I know that takes courage and you don't want to put it out there, but you really want them to be support for you and not working against you. And if they don't know, then it's hard for them to make those changes. So that's a good plan for family, if you can do that. And we talked about sometimes you have to bring your own dishes, your own salad, whatever, or offer to in social situations. Now, there are going to be times where there's a situation where, say you're going to a wedding, say you're the mother of the bride, and there's the champagne toast, and you want to participate. I think as long as you're making a plan and make it with your coach and write it down that you're going to participate in that champagne toast, but maybe it's one sip or maybe it's one glass, and you make that commitment. I'm only going to have one glass. That one glass does not mean I'm going to drink champagne all day long. Or maybe eating the wedding cake is really important to you. Don't eat the icing, just eat the cake. The icing is what's so full of sugar. But the point of it is make a plan. What does that day mean to you? What does that food mean to you? What is really important, and what can you say no to? But if you decide that you're going to say yes to it, know what your yes is, have your boundary. It's not a free-for-all for the whole day, and then it's not an excuse to blow the next 3 days. It's a very mindful, remember mindfulness from last week, it's a mindful plan. Because remember, this is about you and your health and your goal and your why. So you've got to do the best you can. And we got holidays coming up, so there's going to be a lot of talking about planning for that as well when you get close to it with your coach. You have a worksheet for week 4, so I strongly suggest that you go through it, fill it out, take it in to meet with your coach and go through it, see what comes up. There's been worksheets for each week, and I hope you're doing them because I think it will help. Put it out there on the Facebook group to hold yourself accountable, but also share your ideas. What planning and preparation tips work for you? But I want to remind you, put yourself first. When you're in these social situations, when you have family, when you have friends, I also think it's a really good idea to practice what you're going to say to them when you start to get pressure. How are you going to say your no? How are you going to hold your boundaries? If you need to practice that with your coach, practice it with your coach. Write it down. Here's what I'm going to say. Practice saying it out loud in the mirror, because I know sometimes it can be really hard to say what you need to say to family, especially, or really good friends who think they know better. Again, do the worksheet, post on Facebook, comment. If you have any questions, you could chat it to me. Now's a good time to chat any questions, or put questions on the Facebook page and I will answer. Or again, you can always message it with your coach. So I hope this helps, planning and preparation, and get on those Facebook cooking demos and enjoy them. And we will have more coming for you next week. Don't forget to do your meditation for the week. And you guys have a good one. Thanks, everybody.